This is it. This is the final video in the Star Wars Retrospective. Welcome back to Star Wars Retrospective, and are you excited? I'm ranking it. And if you haven't seen any of the individualized review, they are all up on my channel right now. There are 16 of them, and naturally my hair is wet, because why not? So, without further ado, let's rank. So, 16th place, The Rise of Skywalker. This movie is ass. This movie is the assest shit I've ever watched. I gave it a 1 out of 10 in my review. I mean, that's lower than you're ever gonna see one of my reviews get, unless like the Suicide Squad or something. It is an awful film. Palpatine is ass, even though he's doing kind of the actor who's playing him is doing kind of a good job. I mean, they just could have done so much to make this movie good, but the stupid studio interference just made this movie one of the worst additions into this franchise in a long time. And the fact that this didn't end up killing the Star Wars franchise is beyond, like, what I can even think. Like, we're gonna get like 3 more movies soon, and I gotta say, because of this movie, I am not excited. That last video was just so negative that I kind of don't want to do anything, have anything to do with Star Wars after this movie came out. It was such a bad movie. 15th place, The Phantom Menace. This movie is pretty equally as ass, but it has like 1 or 2 redeeming qualities. I mean, Duel of the Fates is awesome. I like it. Everyone knows that. I'm not going to be saying anything new when I say that The Phantom Menace is a bad movie, but Duel of the Fates is awesome. Like, that's literally like the only opinion on the internet that actually works for me. One of my friends who has a channel, I'll link the channel in the description, so that he'll do his own Star Wars movie ranking or something. I mean, he said that he kind of likes the prequels based on the fact that, like, he has nostalgia for them. Nostalgia couldn't even save this shit for me. This stuff is awful. I mean, I hate being negative about movies, but this film is just one of the worst editions. It's not the worst edition, but it is one of the worst editions. It's just bogged down by so much. And obviously I have another review for it that you can watch and enjoy and blah blah blah. But I nowhere in my heart can I find a place for this movie, unless this movie was just like a 4-minute sequence with Duel of the Fates, you know? Like, this movie was destined to be bad. And no matter how hard that the cast and the crew tried, it was doomed from the start. So I'm not gonna throw shade to anyone, especially the kid actor who played Anakin. Definitely feel bad for him. But yeah, moving on. 14th place, we've got Attack of the Clones. I mean, like, this movie is better, but like marginally. Like, it's still not a good movie. I guess I should like give myself a break and like say something that I actually like about this movie. It characterizes the characters a little bit, which I really didn't think would be that difficult, but here we are. I mean, like, I guess it was kind of like fun to watch, but some of the shit was just so stupid. If I looked at this with like a non-critical eye, which is impossible for me to do, it would probably be like a 5 out of 10, but like, just knowing that this movie is what it is, and with a critical eye, I give it a 2.5 out of 10 in my review. It still holds up. It's still a very not good movie. So yeah, I mean, what else can I say? 13th place, The Book of Boba Fett. This shit is ass. I'm not really gonna talk about this much because I don't care enough to, but I didn't like this. And I love Boba Fett, but I hate this show. It's just, maybe not, hate's a strong word, but I just don't like it. I think it was a bad addition. I don't think it was worth the time and the effort, and, yeah, no, I didn't like it. It's just really hard to talk about, so I guess, moving on. 12th place, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now we're getting better. I do have to say we are getting better in these shows. I think it went up a full 3 points. I think I gave Obi-Wan a 5 out of 10. So the best way I can explain this is as mid as it gets. Like, this is like, it's so fan servicey, which I kind of like, just because I love seeing stuff that fucking audience brain, I guess, but like, it's fun. I like it, but Reva is not good, and a lot of other characters in this show just don't work for me. I like seeing Hayden Christensen again. I like seeing Ewan McGregor. That's him. Both of them are doing good jobs. I like that fight between. I love every fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. I think those are a lot of fun, because they feel like they have heart behind them. But the rest of the show, it just feels like filler. And having Leia in the show has honestly just, I can't even find a reason for it, except like useless plot fan service. So yeah. 11th place is Solo. I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it. It was mid. It was, that's just, Solo's a really hard movie to talk about, because it's a movie that doesn't want you to remember what happened in it. Like, it's a movie that's like, just like, you watch it and then you walk out of the theater like, what the fuck just happened? Like, it's kind of like The Aviator. Like, it's like, yeah, I know I liked it in the moment, but what actually happened, right? Like, this movie is just a very confusing boiling pot of, fan service. It's fun to watch, I guess. It's fun. In 10th place, we've got The Last Jedi. I mean, yeah, I liked this movie. It was good. I mean, I reviewed it like 2 videos ago. There were some really enjoyable aspects that ended up coming out of it. I just have to say, like, some aspects of this obviously weren't the greatest, and a lot of people on the internet don't like this movie, and I don't love it. I just like it. So, I mean, yeah, it's good stuff. In 9th place, we got The Force Awakens. I know, 9th place. The 9th place. It's good. It really is fine for what it is. It's a great Star Wars movie. I did actually want to bring up this one guy commented on my Force Awakens video, which got like a surprising amount of views. But this one guy commented about that he didn't like The Force Awakens, and he left an essay like pretty much as long as my video itself, a very long essay, and then I replied to it with like as long as a comment as I could have possibly done. It wasn't really that long, but I respect that opinion. But I like this movie. It's just fun. I can't really say anything too bad about it. It's just fun. In 8th place, we've got Return of the Jedi. Yeah, this movie is good. We're entering a classic territory, and we're entering movies and TV shows that are actually good and fun, and you enjoy yourself, and you don't want to kill yourself while watching. It's good stuff. It's not the most awful stuff around. I know I criticized it in my review, but I do have a soft spot for this movie. It does feel like a pretty impressive finale. And I mean, it was a significantly good arc for Luke and for Leia, and I guess for Han, but Han wasn't really good in that movie. I gotta admit. Not Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford was doing a great job, but Han as a character, I didn't really know what he was doing. Obviously the final act has a lot of fun stuff. Yoda, awesome stuff, awesome sauce. I loved this movie when I was younger, so I really just gotta give props to it for that. You know, it built my childhood. In 7th place, we've got The Mandalorian. It's a very good show. Again, I haven't seen season 3. I've not heard great things about season 3, but seasons 1 and 2 had some pretty enjoyable stuff in them. Plus, Baby Yoda, obviously, cutest thing alive. Dopamine receptors firing off, you know. But no, I enjoy The Mandalorian. It's obviously Pedro Pascal, and just The Mandalorian itself is just so cool. Nice seeing Boba Fett, even though his own show wasn't good. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I did indeed like it. Did I talk about Book of Boba Fett? I've completely forgotten if I've talked about Book of Boba Fett. I think that goes with how important the show was. It really didn't do much for me. In 6th place, we got Andor. As I said, this show was awesome. It had so much cool stuff. The eye sequence was like 2001: A Space Odyssey. It was awesome. Lots of very interesting character work that I don't really see in Star Wars. So yeah, I mean that's definitely a good thing. I'm definitely happy about that. It's just a very interesting and intriguing show overall. Definitely Star Wars, but still very dark and gritty. For what it is. I mean, I like it, and just like its follow-up, Rogue One, it's a very interesting portrayal of how the rebellion actually works. In 5th place, speaking of Rogue One, Rogue One is fun. I liked Rogue One. But the first 2 acts of the movie, I gotta admit, are not like awesome, but the last act of the movie just props this movie up so high on this list, just because of how great and menacing the Empire is. They really did a great job with the portrayal of the Empire, and yeah, all I can say is great job, directors. Gareth Edwards, who directed this movie, is making a movie later this year called The Creator, which I'm definitely gonna go see, or not later this year, next year, which I'm definitely gonna go. Is it this year? Well, whenever it comes out. I'm definitely excited to see it. I definitely want to see it. It looks interesting as hell, and I'm very excited. Next up we got Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, this movie it's the Revenge of the Sith. What I mean, what do you want me to say? It's it's another Rogue One situation. The final act of this film is so great. It's so awesome that it blows the other 2 acts out of the water. I mean, the first 2 acts of this movie can be defined as good, and then the final act is a masterpiece. I mean, I really can't stress enough how much fun and also kind of like sad it is. This is the good prequel. In third place, we got the Clone Wars TV show. Yeah, it's the Clone Wars. My Clone Wars video is currently my most viewed Star Wars retrospective video. Definitely happy about that. I love the Clone Wars. These top 3 are all 10 out of 10. So yeah, I mean, the Clone Wars. If you haven't watched it, go watch it for yourself. It's so much fun to watch in between, like right after those first 2 awful movies. Like talking about the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, and then talking about the Clone Wars was such a relief for me. I mean, like I hated it. I mean, yeah. Second place, I got A New Hope. I mean, what the fuck do you want me to say? It's A New Hope. It's the first Star Wars movie. It's a masterpiece. None of these other movies would exist if not for A New Hope. It's so good. Yeah, no, I think that A New Hope is just a masterpiece of filmmaking. It's a blockbuster. It's one of the first blockbusters, but it still somehow manages to be like a really compelling and interesting film. And what else do I say? It's A New Hope. And in first place, obviously, The Empire Strikes Back. This movie is one of the greatest films that I've ever seen. If I go to my Letterboxd right now, also follow me on Letterboxd, I have a list that has my top 50 movies of all time. Empire Strikes Back places what's that? 13th. Like this movie is on the same is above movies like this movie is above movies like The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, all of the Lord of the Rings movies, The Wolf on Wall Street, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This movie is so great, and I love it. It's I hold such a soft spot for these movies. This movie in particular, it's just what a film. What a actual like filmmaking achievement that this movie even got made the way it was. It's a masterpiece, you know? So yeah, that concludes the ranking. I mean, there it is. This was a lot of fun, and the 3 hours, when you put this all together, the 3 hours of footage, it didn't seem long enough, so let's keep talking. The Star Wars franchise is one of the most successful and influential franchises in the history of cinema. Since the release of A New Hope in 1977, the franchise has become a cultural phenomenon, inspiring multiple sequels, spin-offs, merchandise, and even a theme park. I want to argue that the Star Wars franchise is the most important franchise of all time for several reasons. Firstly, the Star Wars franchise revolutionized the film industry and changed the way movies are made and marketed. This original Star Wars film was a box office sensation, breaking numerous records and becoming the highest-grossing film of all time at the time of its release. The film's success was due in part to its innovative special effects and sound design, which set a new standard for blockbuster filmmaking. The franchise also pioneered the use of merchandising and cross-promotion, leading to the expansion of the entertainment industry. Secondly, the Star Wars franchise has had a significant impact on popular culture. The films have become a touchstone of modern mythology, inspiring countless books, comics, video games, and other media. The franchise's characters, such as Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and Princess Leia, have all become icons in their own right, and they're easily recognizable around the world. The film's themes of good versus evil, redemption, and the power of the human spirit have resonated with audiences of all ages, making the franchise a cultural touchstone for generations. Thirdly, the Star Wars franchise has inspired a generation of filmmakers such as J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and Taika Waititi have all cited Star Wars as a major influence on their work. The first two of those last three even directed Star Wars films. The franchise's themes and storytelling techniques have been adapted and emulated in countless films, TV shows, and other media, making it one of the most significant creative influences of all time. Finally, the Star Wars franchise has become a symbol for hope and inspiration for millions of people around the world. The messages of courage, friendship, and standing up to tyranny have resonated with audiences of all ages and backgrounds, making the franchise beacon of positivity in an otherwise dark and uncertain world. The franchise's impact on popular culture and society as a whole is immeasurable, making it one of the most important franchises of all time. So, in conclusion, the Star Wars franchise is the most important franchise of all time. Its impact on the film industry, popular culture, and society as a whole is immeasurable, inspiring generations of filmmakers and storytellers who have become a symbol of hope and inspiration for millions around the world. While other franchises may have their devotees, it is clear that Star Wars has left an indelible mark on the entertainment industry and the world, making it the most important franchise of all time. Well, guys, I guess that's it. This was well over 3 hours long, so I need to take a break from massive retrospectives, which I've already done like 3 times this year, and I'm not gonna stop. I just need to mention, because I need to talk about the schedule after this. I might make some solo videos, which I haven't done in a long time. I have to do this Earthbound retrospective. So I've never played Earthbound, but I made a deal with this kid in my friend group, that if he listened to Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon, I would make a Earthbound retrospective. So I gotta get to playing those games. And I also gotta say, I will be making a Dark Side of the Moon video. I've listened to that like 7 times in the past week. It's a great album. Cinemalist Awards still happening this year, despite the low viewer count of the last one. But yeah, I mean, I also just wanted to say, this channel might not exist without Star Wars. Star Wars is so important to me, and is one of the main reasons that I am where I am today. And that's not like a morbid thing, like without this, like without A New Hope I was gonna kill myself, but like it was like it's just such an important franchise to me, and the way I developed around Star Wars and with Star Wars, it was so great, you know? And I can't put into words how much Star Wars means to me, and how much it hurts whenever they make a bad entry. So I hope they continue to do good, and with that, I'll always be tuning in. So, with that, bye everyone. Longest video I've ever made.